I posted up a video recently. I called it Aikido Bullshido. But I don't want to ever suggest that I think all Aikido is Bullshido or something. It's just this was Aikido. In fact, I found out the guy who's doing this nonsense, basically, allegedly throwing around a guy that's twice his size. I'm not saying a smaller guy can't throw around a bigger guy at all. I'm not saying that, but anyone who's seen the video, it's just nonsense. He's just holding his wrists like this, and the the bigger guy's doing grossly exaggerated like flips out of it and all this sort of thing. Um, and I found out the guy, the master, is like a proper like the Tokyo Head Academy for Aikido or something. Because I happened across a program on YouTube where the Kyokushin heavyweight, the legendary Kyokushin heavyweight who's done out of Masayama, Nicholas Petas, who I mentioned recently in another video, along with, let's say they studied under Masayama, along with Judd Reed, the famous Australian Kyokushin, the guy who did the 100-man kumite. But anyway, Nicholas Petas is presenting this program where he's skeptical of all this stuff. The idea that you can basically, the power of the force, as it's dismissively, but I think correctly referred to, this nonsense of controlling ki. And at the start of this program, I'll try and link it. I'll try and find it again rather and link it. But he's looking at these clips of this guy doing the Aikido master, and Nicholas Bates just laughing. I mean, this is let's say, is a proper. He was Uchideshi, which is like a living student of Masayama's for 3 years in Tokyo, and then he's had this career, and his training went back before to childhood. So he's just a whatever it is, 16-stone Kyokushin powerhouse. He's looking at this guy doing this stuff and laughing, saying this is ridiculous. But he goes and he meets this guy, and he's very respectful. There's a respect there, which is a nice thing. And eventually, he shows him a few things, and I don't want to. I'd never have the insolence of second guessing what Nicholas Petas was doing, but maybe he's presenting this program. He can't just kick the hell out of this expert when he tries his magic powers on him. So at the end, he's like, "Oh, maybe there's something in there that move seemed to work," and all this sort of thing. And when he touched me like on this point here, I couldn't move at all. So anyway, that's what he says. So, but that aside, I'm just trying to work out why so many people seem to accept Bullshido, just willingly sort of plunge into this. What to the outsiders people just laugh at. It's just ridiculous. All over the world. I was gonna, because I don't want to get into like stereotypes of the East and West. Because I'm just thinking, if I see Eastern students doing it, Oriental students doing it, like the video clip I posted, Aikido Bullshido, where the much bigger guy is just allowing himself to who is himself like doing flips and stuff, when the master does some silly little tweaks his arm or something, the bloke goes, oh, and throws himself halfway across across 6 tatami mats or something. And I think, with having been in Japan for 12 years, I say don't want to get into any stereotypes, but if the master's got all this respect and awe and stuff, it would take a very brave student to go, hang on, this is crap. I'm not playing along with this. Be ostracized, and the shame and the loss of face and all this sort of things. It's probably just easier to go along with it. And to stand up to bullshit a lot of the time it puts you out in the cold wherever you are. But I have to say, having been in Japan for 12 years, it's to be out of the group in Japan is you really are out in the cold. But it's in the West as well. And again, that's I linked to another video recently. It's called "Martial Arts: A Real Story," and it was shown in the UK about 20 years ago. And they're interviewing various martial artists, and one is this English guy, and he's out in, I don't know where it was. It's some country in the Far East. It's like Singapore or something. But this guy, and that's Bullshido. He's like he's learning like the Dimmak from the master. It's like this English guy's like, yeah. He just slightly stroked my arm, and I felt so sick and weak for the next few days. And then my master also went, "Oh, God, sorry. I did that by mistake. If you hadn't told me, you'd be dead soon, because that's the dim mac. Like, really? Like, and when he's talking, he seemed a bit odd at times, but he didn't seem stupid. And it's like, where, how can you believe this? You have a brain, and it's this idea. It must be this idea. There's some secret magic you can learn. It's not just hard training. It's not just endless conditioning practice and rolling practice and running and striking practice and da 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 da. There's some magic that somehow supersedes all of this, all the mundane, heavy duty sweat, blood and tears type stuff. You find the old man who lives in the mountain that can teach you how to, well, if you touch Mike Tyson here, he'd be dead, or something. It's mad. But so I just reference Oriental students, but students out in the West as well willingly fall for it. I remember I felt years ago I was doing jiu-jitsu, or it's called just jiu-jitsu. Of course, trying to jiu-jitsu this class. And I knew as soon as I met the instructor, I got him. He didn't much care for me. It's just exactly that feeling. In fact, we sound paranoid, but you just kind of know. But he did this thing he said, I'll show you how to get a wrist grab, double wrist grab. And he said, grab my wrists to me. He said, grab my wrists. The time I joined this class, I had a brown belt. I was like, should I go back to white for this class? No, keep your belt on. So I was a brown belt against this guy, whatever he was, second. Actually, I think it was just first dan black belt. But anyway, that aside, it was nothing more complicated than a wrist grab. I just grabbed his wrists. He said, really grab him. Now I'm going to show you how to get out of him. So I took him at his word. I grabbed him. Whatever, wrist grabs and everything escapes, but I'm going with it. And if you grab someone tight and you've got a reasonable amount of strength, and eventually he said, you can let go now. So it was obvious he'd done no escape. And I'd done exactly what he asked me to do. Then he came up to me later and he quite threatening. He said, if I wanted to get out of that, believe me, I would be able to get out of that. Like he probably could have made by hoofing me in the balls or something, because that's that's real life. But you said grab my wrist tight as you can, and I'm not going to just go along with you and pretend that you got out of it when you didn't do it, because that's a lie, and that's not martial arts. That's not martial arts. Don't go along with bullshit, because it never ever ends well. It rots the soul, and you're lying to people who watch you, your friends, your loved ones, your kids. If you just put him on a clown show, and deep down, as I say, it's going to rot your soul eventually. Well, some people, maybe they don't feel it. Maybe it doesn't rot their soul, but if you got some character or something, then it's not going to do that any good. It's really not. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's that it's either people, they don't want to be out of the group, or they want to be a part of the group. The most ridiculous thing, like falling over when someone says they're throwing a chi ball at them, they fall over, pretend to be unconscious, and you see them looking behind themselves quickly so they don't land, off the mat or something. They make sure they're landing properly, and then they're out of the count because they've been hit by a chi ball. So maybe, why do people go along with Bullshido? Maybe, I'd say part of the group, they want to be out of the cold. I said before in the East, but East, West, hell, it's all the bloody same at the end of the day, aren't we? They went out of the group, or they honestly believe, they want to believe, like that English guy in that video, Martial Arts Real Story, they want to believe there's some magic there. There's something that just does not exist. That some secret power, some secret force that will, and I say, negates the heavy duty training that martial artists have to, or any sports, or people trying to get better, trying to improve physically, have to do, no matter what they're doing. They honestly want to believe that they can throw chi balls or whatever, do the dim mak, the death touch, and all this sort of stuff. But that's the power of Bullshido. It seems to be, for all it's laughed at and stuff, it seems to be a very powerful force, because as far as I can see, it attracts a hell of a lot of people. A hell of a lot of people. You just got to see on the internet. Yeah, it's just, but as I say, for anyone involved in that, always think they're in the in a Bullshido world, or they're being taught nonsense or something, refuse, resist. And the good thing is now you've got the internet. Get on the internet. You can learn really good basic moves just off the internet. Even finding a good teacher is hard sometimes. So you can just do basic stuff over and over and over again. That's going to be a far more do press-ups over some rubbish, fake pressure point type stuff or whatever. Get strong in yourself, whether you're 4'2" or 7'9". Just improve yourself as much as you can without succumbing to Bullshido or bullshit, because it's not a highway to nowhere. It's worse than that. It's a highway to self-defeat and it's ruin.